Top 5 worst things about my SN95 Mustang. Let's get it. YouTube, what is going on? It is your boy Chris Rod here, and today we're going to be focusing basically on the 5 things that I just truly don't like about SN95 Mustangs. Now, this is all basically my opinion, but sometimes it don't matter, but I'm hoping it can help some of you guys if you're looking to buy one. First thing that I think is the worst thing when it comes to these cars, now this is all the way from the years of 94 all the way to 04. It's going to be the ride height, and obviously, guys, we should know this already. The ride height on these cars were not the best. They're basically like a monster truck. I mean, come on, take a look at this. Like, I fit a whole hand under here. Like, that's not supposed to be the way it should. Sorry, just not supposed to be. 5 fingers roughly all the way around on this car, and it's just not the best looking thing in the world. Even though for the old school guys that are out there, they might like the nice big ride height, you know, because that's just the old school style way. But when it comes to the new modern day, it's not the one thing that you should want. But it is an easy fix. All you gotta do is get some lowering springs. But that will be option number 1. The second thing is going to be also something that's in a way cosmetic. It's going to be more looks and so forth. It's really the interior of the car. Once again, when it comes to these cars, no matter what model it is, whether it's the base, GT, and or the Cobras, even the Terminators of these generations, they just have the same blah style interior. I never bothered to actually put something new. The only thing that I am aware of is that the Cobra seats for the Terminators may have that little suede insert in the center of the actual seats from the front and the back. But as far as it goes, these interiors are pretty much the same exact thing. Third thing that I'm going to talk about, since I'm already in the car, excuse the mess by the way, but it's going to be this transmission. That's going to be in particular the T45 transmission that literally comes in all the Mustangs from, I believe it's at least 96 all the way to 04. And it's for the Cobras, but the only one that has a different transmission is going to be the 0304 Terminator Cobra. Now, I don't understand why when it comes to the 96 and all the way through to, you know, what was it, 2002, why they couldn't come with just a simple transmission that was, you know, very unique and not just stick with the T45. Ideally, when it comes to the Cobra cars, T45s are glass. They're trash, and that's the reality of it, whether you want to face it or not. Unfortunately for me, I'm going to end up having to change the transmission. I don't know how soon, but it does grind in a specific gear. So, yeah, that's my point. These cars, when it comes to the transmissions, glass. And just so you know, what I'll be switching to will definitely be the T56 Tremec transmission. Now, that's the plan. That's the plan that I'm going to have for this car, man. Because you know what? The T56 is just such a beast transmission. It could take so much power. But at least for right now, we're going to stick with what we have, obviously, because we ain't got no money. But that's the plan for the future. Next thing we're going to be talking about is very opinion-based, even though you guys can't really see it at the moment. But it's somewhere down there, and it's going to be the rear end of any SN95 Mustang. Check it out though, when it comes to these cars and as far as the rear end goes, originally, and mind you, I've driven GTs, I've driven the base, and I've driven the Cobra because I have one. The gears are so damn long, dude. They are just way too long. And don't get me wrong, every single model up, the gear ratio tends to change. But when it comes down to it, if you're rocking a 2-valve Mustang, guess what? You have a good chance that you have maybe like a 297 gear ratio.
I'd like to welcome the fake news media, which is back there.
Before I embarrass myself any longer in this video, let me actually just make sure I have a correct number as to what the gear ratios are for these cars. And I'm going to do that by simply showing you guys a little graph from LMR. So here's a little chart or diagram, whatever you want to call this. And basically just showing you guys what exactly the gear ratios are when it comes to these cars and what particular years. We're going to really look at the ones that go from 94 all the way to 04, which are these 2 sections right here. So I think, if I'm not mistaken, what it was is that it's the availability that they have is the 273 gears. And then when it comes to the manuals, we go to a 308. Then for the autos, it's the 327. And then when it goes to the Cobras and the other models from 99 and up, besides, I think, the 04 and 0304 Cobras, besides those, 327 gears. And then, as you see, we got the 355s for the Mach 1s and the 0304 Cobras. And that's ideally what the gear ratios are. But if you want my personal opinion on what gear ratio to get on your SN95 Mustang, 355 is a gear ratio that's good for daily driving. 373 is very aggressive and actually really good that people usually recommend on these cars. And a 410 is a little bit too much, but it all has a certain preference to what you guys may like. You never know until you're going to find out. The gear ratio I might go for, maybe the 355. I do not know yet. I might stick along with what I have currently at the moment until I end up putting more power to see what kind of gains I want to get out of this car. And the fifth and last thing that I want to talk about that I think is just the worst when it comes to this car, or SN95 Mustangs, is more or less more. It's more for the actual four? Yeah, nice. It's going to be more for the 4-valve motors. And in particular, if you guys are aware, these 4-valve motors have something called a IMRC plate, otherwise known as a intake manifold runner control plate. And to keep it the basics, honestly, it's pretty much some system within the computer that's under the manifold, and it opens up some valves within the heads. You know, I think it's really useless, and the reason for that is because ideally when it comes down to these IMRC plates, what you're going to have to do is actually clean them up ever so often. You really have to maintain them, and there's only 2 ways to actually do that. You either pull the whole intake manifold out just to get to those IMRC plates in, or run some seafoam through your intake and try and clean them out as much as you can. That's literally the only way to really clean them, in my opinion. I could be wrong. Maybe we could put, you know, what's that thing called, like an oil catch can, to try and make it less of a mess when it comes down to it, because all it is just the crud from the oil deposits that get stuck on the actual valves. Then it clogs, and then, you know, gets the valve stuck, and then you can overheat your engine, and then, yeah, it's not fun. It's not fun. So even I gotta watch out for this, guys. And that's pretty much the whole ordeal. I mean, this might be a little more, I guess, biased. I don't know. You know, I don't know what's up with words. I'm not too sure. But this is more my opinion when it comes down to it. And for the simple fact that I literally owned a base, a GT, and as well a Cobra at this rate. I mean, you know, it's insane. It really is insane, man. So I figure I should give my own opinion as to what is good about it, or excuse me, what's the bad things about these cars. Overall, though, these cars are amazing to have, and I'm going to make another video explaining why, so we're going to skip that for the most part. Let's not forget one thing. Everything that I mentioned in this particular video can be changed, so I don't have to be stuck with these certain things that I don't like about it. That's the best part I got to say about this. Everything that I said in this video can all be changed and put to my liking. And with all that being said, if you guys found this video enjoyable and helpful in any kind of way, be sure to leave a like, and don't forget for your boy, be sure to join the click by simply smashing that subscribe button, and as well as ringing that notification bell. Until then, it's been the boy Chris Rod, and I see all you beautiful people in the next one. Peace.
No es simplemente una mata. Préndele, do cacha y sube para no